ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi-lila, text 46, chapter 1. Acharyam mam vijaniyam navamanyet karhi chet namartya buddhyasyuyeta sarvadeva mayo guruhu.
Translation: One should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods.
शिक्षा गुरु के जाने कृष्णे रस्वरूपा अंतर्यामी भक्त श्रेष्ठ ये दुहि रूपा.
One should know the instructing spiritual master to be the personality of Krishna. Lord Krishna manifests himself as the Supreme Soul and as the greatest devotee of the Lord.
नैवोप्यन्त्य अपचित्तिं कवयस्तवेषा ब्रह्मायुष्यपि कृतं रद्धा मुदा स्मरन्तः यो अन्तर्बहिस्तनुभृतम् अशुभं विदुन्वम् आचार्य चैत्य वपुस्वगतिं व्यनक्ति.
O my Lord, transcendental poets and experts in spiritual science could not fully express their indeb- indebtedness to you, even if they were endued with the prolonged lifetime of Brahma, for you appear in the two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as the Supreme Soul, to deliver the embodied living being by directing him how to come to you.
तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते.
To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
यथा ब्रह्मणे भगवन् स्वयम् उपदिश्य अनुभवितन्वान्.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sayam Bhagavan, taught Brahma and made himself realize.
ज्ञानं परमगुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञानसमन्वितं स रहस्यं तदङ्गं च ग्रह ग्रहणागदितं मया.
Please hear attentively what I shall speak to you, for the transcendental knowledge about me is not only scientific but also full of mysteries.
यावनहं यतभावो यद्रूपगुणकर्मकः तथैव तत्त्वविज्ञानम् अस्तु ते मदनुग्रहात्.
By my causeless mercy, be enlightened in the truth about my personality, manifestation, qualities, and the pastimes.
अहम् एव सम् एव अग्रे नान्यद् यत् सद् असत्परं पश्यदहं यदेतच्च यो अवशिष्येत सो अस्म्यहम्.
Prior to the cosmic creation, only I exist, and no phenomenal exist, either gross, subtle, or a primordial. After creation, only I exist in everything, and after annihilation, only I remain eternally.
ऋतेऽर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत च आत्मनि तद्विद्यात् आत्मनोमयम् यथा भावसो यथा तमः.
What appears to be truth without me is certainly my illusion energy, for nothing can exist without me. It is like a reflection of a real light in the shadows, for in the light there are neither shadows nor reflections.
यथा महन्ति भूतानि भूतेषु उच्चश्वचेष्वनु प्रविशत्यन्य अप्रविशन्ति प्रविशन्त्य अप्रविस्तानि तथा तेषु न तेष्वहम्.
As the material elements enter the bodies of all living beings and yet remain outside them all, I exist within all the material creation and yet I am not within them.
एता एतावद् एव जिज्ञास्यम् जिज्ञासुना आत्मनः अन्वय व्यतिरेकभ्यम् यस्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा.
A person interested in transcendental knowledge must therefore always directly and indirectly inquiry about it to know the all pervading truth.
चिन्तामणिर्जयति समगिरिर्गुरुर्मे शिक्ष्य गुरुश्च भगवन् शिखी पिञ्च मौलिः यत्पादकल्पतरु पल्लव शेखरेषु लीलस्वयंवर रसं लभते जयश्रीः.
All glories to Chintamani and my initiating spiritual master Somagiri. All glories to my instructing spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who wears a peacock feather in his crown under the shade of his lotus feet, which are like desire trees. Jai Sri the Radharani enjoys the transcendental mellow of an internal concert.
जीवे साक्षात् नाही ताते गुरु चैत्य रूपे शिक्षा गुरु हय कृष्ण महंत स्वरूपे.
Since one cannot visually experience the presence of Supreme Soul, he appears before us as a liberated devotee. Such a special master is none other than Krishna himself.
ततो दुःसङ्गं पुसृज्य सत्सु सज्जेत बुद्धिमान् सन्त एव स्य चिन्तन्ति मनोव्या मनोव्यासङ्गम् उक्तिभिः.
One should therefore avoid bad company and associate only with devotees. With their realized instructions, such saints can cut the knot connecting one with the activities unfavorable to the devotional service.
शतं प्रसङ्गं मम वीर्य संविदो भवन्तिरुत्कर्ण रसयनः कतः तज्जोषन् तज्जोषन्नात् अश्व अपवर्गवर्त्मनि श्रद्धरतिर्भक्तिर् अनुक्रमिष्यति.
The spiritually powerful message of Godhead can be properly discussed only in a society of devotees, and it is greatly pleasing to hear in that association. If one hears from devotees, the way of transcendental experience quickly opens, and gradually one attains firm faith that is due course develops into attraction and devotion.
ईश्वर स्वरूप भक्त तम्र अधिष्ठान भक्तेरहृदय कृष्णेर सतत विश्रम.
A pure devotee constantly engaged in the loving service of the Lord is identical with the Lord, who is always seated in his heart.
साधवो हृदयं मह्यं साधूनां हृदयं त्वहं मदन्यते मद्यन्यतेन जनति नाहं तेभ्यो मनगपि.
Saints are my heart, and only I am their hearts. They do not know anyone but me, and therefore I do not recognize anyone beside them as mine.
भवाद्विध भगवतस्तीर्थभूतस्वयं विभो तीर्थीकुर्वन्ति तीर्थानि स्वन्तस्तेन गदभृता.
Saints of your Calvary are themselves flesh of pilgrim. uh, uh, pilgrimage. Because of their purity, they are constant companions of the Lord, and therefore they can purify even the place of pilgrimage.
तेहि भक्तगणाय द्विविधप्रकार प्रसीद परिषद्गण एक साधकगण अरा.
Such pure devotees are of two types: personal associates, parisats, and neophytes devotees, sadhaks.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry for the mistakes. Please forgive me. Apologies.
So much, Mataji. Very beautifully recited. Very nice.
Hari Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. You did nicely. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. It was difficult. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you so much. We did a little bit early. Can you utilize the time for japa? Little bit, few more minutes, more than one round. Okay, so can I request the activities? Anyone would like to do the Panchatattva mantra, and then we shall start the japa.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, please.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna,
हरे
Hare Ram,
हरे
Hare Ram,
राम राम हरे
Hare
हरे.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram, Ram,
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
हरे
Ram.
कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
राम
Hare
राम
Krishna,
राम
Krishna
हरे
Krishna,
हरे.
Hare
हरे
Ram,
हरे
Hare Ram,
राम
Ram
राम
Ram,
राम
Hare
हरे.
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण
Ram
हरे
Ram
कृष्ण
Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Ram Ram Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna Ram Ram Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna Ram Ram Hare
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 Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Ram.
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Ram.
Krishna Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram.
Krishna Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram.
Ram 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 Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram,
Krishna Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram.
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare
Ram
Ram.
Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram,
Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Ram 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 Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Ram Ram Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram.
Ram Ram Hare
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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare
Krishna
Ram.
Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Ram.
Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Ram Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare Ram.
Krishna Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram.
Krishna Ram Ram Hare
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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Hare Ram.
Ram 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 Hare
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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram.
Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram. Hare Ram, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram.
Krishna Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Ram.
Krishna Ram 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 Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Ram.
Krishna Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Ram
Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Ram Ram Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Ram 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna Ram 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 Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Ram
Ram,
Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Ram
Ram
Ram, Hare
Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Ram Ram Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Ram Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Hare Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna, Mukhi Hare Allah Bogla, Rise the Bodhan
Hare
number को तो
Hare
टाइम लगता
Krishna,
है
Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram
Shri Krishna
Hare
Chaitanya
Krishna, Hare
Prabhu
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram
Krishna Nada mere klapko
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna, Hare Ram
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Ram Ram
Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Ram Ram
Ram
Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Ram
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, if anyone has not yet completed, kindly complete the japa around behind. So meanwhile, we shall move to the next part of our program. So it is the next with the Kirtan. Okay, so today, just looking at the Kirtan yesterday. By Vishal Mataji. Hare Krishna, Vishal Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dhamma Pranam, Hare Krishna, devotees.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we are singing any new song, Mataji?
Prabhu, I can say Jai Radha, Jai Krishna. I didn't prepare any new one.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. You want someone to accompany with you, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, anybody would like to.
Dear devotees, anyone would like to accompany Mataji? Asha Mataji? Have you followed?
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. And you're ready.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna. Jaya Vrindavana. Sri Govinda Gopinatha. Madana Mohana.
He Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavana Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohana
जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन
जय राधे जय कृष्णा जय वृंदावन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन
श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिगावदाना कालिंदी जमुना जय जय महाराज
श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन कालिंदी जमुना जय जय महावन
जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन
जय राधे जय कृष्णा जय वृंदावन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन
केशी घाट बंसी बट द्वादश कनन जहाँ सब लीला खोला श्री नंदन
के केशिघाट बंसी बाट द्वादशकना जगा सब लीला कोइलो श्री नंद नंदन
श्रीनंद यशोदा जय जय गोपगण श्रीदामादि जय जय देववत्सगण
श्रीनंद यशोदा जय जय गोपकान श्रीदमति जय जय धेनुवत्सगं
जय वृषभानु जय कृतिदासुन्दरी जय पूर्णमासी जय कबीरनगर
जय वृषभानु जय कीर्तिदस
कृतिदासुन्दरी
जय
पूर्णमासी
पौर्णमासी
जय कबीरनगर
नगरी
जय जय गोपीश्वर वृंदावन जय 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 कृष्ण सखा बाट द्विजराज
जय जय गोपीश्वर वृंदावन जय जय कृष्ण सगा बधु राजू
जय जय गोपीश्वर वृंदावन जय 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 कृष्ण सखा बाट द्विजराज
जय जय गोपेश्वर गोपीश्वर वृंदावन जय जय कृष्ण सगा पादु
जय राम घाट जय रोहिणी नंदन जय जय वृंदावन वासी जत जन
जय राम भक्त जय रोहिणी नंदन जय जय वृंदावन बासी जय
जय द्विजपत्नी जय नागकन्या गान काशी के जहार पालो गोविंदा चरा
जय द्विज पत्नी जय नाग कन्या भक्ति जहर पैलो गोविंद चरण
श्रीरासा मंडल जय जय राधा श्यामा जय जय रास लीला सावमानुरा
जय रास मंडल जय जय राधा श्याम जय जय रास लीला सर्वमनो
जय जय ज्वाला रस सर्वरस प्रिय भावे जहाँ ब्रजते प्रचार
जय 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 रस सर्व रस पराख्य बाबो जाह ब्रजते प्रचार
त्रिजानवापद पद्मकार्य स्मरण दीन कृष्ण दास करे नाम संकीर्तन
श्रीचरण पाद पद्म कोरियस्मरण दीन कृष्ण दास कोहि नाम संकीर्तन
त्रिजानवापद पद्मकार्य स्मरण दीन कृष्ण दास कहे नाम संकीर्तन
श्रीचरण पद्म पाद पद्मा कोरियस्मरण दीन कृष्ण दास कोहि नाम संकीर्तन
जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन
जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe.
Shri Radha Madhava ki jai. Jai. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Vishal Mataji and Asha Mataji. So nicely sung. Nice Kirtan. Thank you so much. Okay, so we shall move to the next part. So Guru Vandana. Guru Vandana by Dena Sreshta Mataji. Since Mataji is not in here. Gayatri Mataji, would you like to do the Guru Vandana Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Would you like to say Guru Vandana Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. I'm not that good Prabhuji yet, so I don't know if Induleka Mataji would like to do it, so I can follow.
Okay, Mataji. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
We can practice this Kirtan for next Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Induleka Mataji are available to do the Guru Vandana.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Shri Gurudev ki jai. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma
Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma
Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma
Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma
Bandhu moi savadhana mate
Bandhu moi savadhana mate
Bandhu moi savadhana mate
Bandhu moi savadhana mate
Jahara prasade bhai Ebhava turiya jai
Jahara prasade bhai E bhave toriya jai
Krishna prapti hoy jahan hoy te
Krishna prapti hoi jaha hoite
Guru mukha padma vakya Chite te koriya kya
Guru mukha padma vakya Chitete koriya kya
Arana kari ho mane asha
Arana kori ho mane asha
Arana kari ho mane asha
Arana kori ho mane asha
Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati
Sri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati
Je prasade pure sarva asha
जे प्रसादे पूरे सर्वा आशा
चकुदन दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से
ते कुदाने दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से
दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो
दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो
प्रेमा भक्ति जहाँ होती अविद्या विनाश जाते
प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशे जाते
भेदे गाय जहाँ रचरितो
वेदे गाय जहाँ चरितो
श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अदम जनार बंधु
श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधमा जनर बंधु
लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना
लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना
लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना
लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना
हाँ हाँ प्रभु घोरो दया दे हो मोरे पद छाया
हा हा प्रभु कोरो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया
हाँ हाँ प्रभु घोरो दया दे हो मोहे पद छाया
हा हा प्रभु कोरो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया
एबे जस घुषुक सी भुवाना
एबे जशद गुशुक त्रिभुवाना
श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावाना
श्रील प्रभुपाद पतित पावना
गुरुदेव लैला शरणा
गुरुदेव लैलो शरणा
जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा श्रील प्रभुपदा
जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा श्रील प्रभुपादा
जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव
जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव
निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि
हरि
बोल
बोल श्रीला प्रभुपाद की
जय
जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय
Jai.
हरे कृष्णा थैंक यू
Hare
थैंक यू जी हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्णा थैंक यू
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So nice later. Guru Vandana. Thank you so much. And Gayatri Mataji and Indulekha Mataji. Okay, so shall move on to next is the Mangalacharan place by Asha Mataji. Asha Mataji. Let's do the share that one. So Asha Mataji, so when you are ready.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to share. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा माह्यं तदा विश्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोन् श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं सह्जातं सगगन रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगगनललिता श्रीविशाखान्विषां च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पदे गोपेश गोपिकान्द राधाकान्द नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुक्षस्य कृपा सिन्धुप एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वति देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पक्षकर्ते सतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Asha Mataji. So nicely done. Mangalas and prayers. Thank you so much. Okay, we shall move to the next part. It is the Premadhvani prayers. Do you have the Vashish Prabhuji to the Premadhvani prayers? Okay, Prabhuti Sachi Mataji, would you like to do the Premadhvani prayers, please?
I'll try Prabhu this on my mobile. I'm just finding difficult.
Okay.
1 second.
Would you like Sachi Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can do if Mataji has problem in.
Yes, Prabhuji, sorry. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes,
I am on my mobile. I'm sorry.
yes,
Mm,
yes, sure. Yeah, please.
Okay. जय नित्य लीला परमेष्टम ओम विष्णुपद परमहंसं परिवक्षर आचार्य अस्तोतर साथ श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
जय ओम विष्णुपदा परमहंसं परिवक्षर आचार्य अस्तोतर साथ श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
Jai.
जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय
Jai.
नाम आचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की
Jai.
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 इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य शिला प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
Jai.
जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की
Jai.
Jai.
श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की
Jai.
Jai.
जय वृंदावन धाम की
Jai.
Jai.
मथुरा धाम की
Jai.
Jai.
नवदीप धाम की
Jai.
Jai.
जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की
Jai.
जय
Jai.
गंगा माई की
Jai.
Jai.
यमुना माई की
Jai.
Jai.
तुलसी देवी की
Jai.
Jai.
भक्ति देवी की
Jai.
Jai.
संकीर्तन यज्ञ की
Jai.
Jai.
बृहद मृदंग की
Jai.
Jai.
सामवेद भक्त वृंद की
Jai.
Jai.
गौर प्रेमानंदे
Hari
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 Hari Bo.
Bol.
all glories to assembled devotees
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Krishna all glories to assembled devotees
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga all glories to Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai.
जय Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mridula Satyamataji. So beautiful. Very nice. Okay, thank you so much. So before we move to the Chaitanya Charitamrita part, we shall also do the Chaitanya Charitamrita prayers. Okay, so we shall all lead this one. So you just follow me. So just continue behind. Wherever it is possible, kindly unmute and we all do together. I lead and you follow line by line. Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan
वन्दे गुरूनीश भक्तान्
Isham Ishavatarakam
ईशाम् ईशावतारकम्
Tatprakasham Chataktihi
तत्प्रकाशां
च
सदसद्भिः
तच्चक्तिः
Krishna Chaitanya Sanyakam
कृष्णचैतन्यसंज्ञकम्
कृष्णचैतन्यसंज्ञकम्
Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya
वन्दे
वन्दे
श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यं
श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य
Nityananda Sahodito
नित्यानन्दो सहोदितो
Gaudodaye Pushpavantau
गौडोदये पुष्पमन्तौ
Chitrau Sendau Tamonudau
चित्रो सन्दो समोनुदौ
समोनुदौ
Yad Advaitam Brahmopanishri Tadatyasya Tanubha
यद्यद्वैतं
ब्रह्मोपनिषदि
ब्रह्मोपनिषदि तदत्यस्य तनूभा
Yatmantaryami Purusha iti Soshamsha Vibhavaha
यान्तर्यामी पुरुषो इति स साम्यादविभावः
Shadaishwarya Purno Yeha Bhagavan Sa Swayam Ayam
तदैश्वर्ये पूर्णो हैः भगवान् स्वयम् अयम्
Na Chaitanyat Krishna Jagati Paratatvam Paramiha
न चैतन्यात् कृष्णात् जगति परतत्त्वं परमिह
Anarpita Chirinchirat Karunayavatirnah Kalau
अनर्पितचरिं चिरात् करुणयावतिरानः खलु
Samarpitum Unnatodhvalarasam Subhakti Shriyam
समर्पितुररसां स्वभक्तिश्रियम्
जलरसंस्वभक्तिसृज श्रिय
Harihi Purata Sundara Juti Kadamba Sandipitaha
हरिः
हरिः
Purata
पुरस्सरः
Sundara Dviti
कदम्बसन्दीपः
Kadamba
Sada Hridaya Kandare Spuratu Vasaki Nandanaha
सदा
Sada
हृदये
Hridaya
कन्दरे
Kandare
पुरस्सदा
Spurtu
सचीनन्दनः
Vasachitandanaha
Vasandipitaha
Hari
हरिः
Purata Sundara
पुरस्सरः
Dviti
कदम्बसन्दीपः
Sada Kandare Spuratu Vasaki Nandanaha
सदा
Sada
हृदये
Hridaya
कन्दरे
Kandare Spurtu
पुरस्सदा सचीनन्दनः
Vasachitandanaha
Vasandipitaha
Hari Purata Sundara
Something is going behind. Okay. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikruti Hladini Sektirasmad
Radha
राधा
Krishna
प्रणय
Pranaya
विकृति
Vikriti
राधिनी
Halidini
शक्ति
Sakiti Bhasma
अस्मात्
Ekatmana Vapi Bhuypura Deha Vedam Gatau
Ekatmana
आत्मना
Avi Vupi Pura Deha Vedam
देहभेदं गतोऽसौ
Gautato
Chaitanyakyam Pratamaduna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam
चैतन्यार्थं
Chaitanyakyam
प्रकटम्
Prakatam
अधुना
Aduna
तद्वयं
Davyam
शक्यम् अप्तम्
Tam
Radha Bhavajuti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam
Radha Bhava
राधाभावद्युति
Duhitu
सुवलितं
Surlitam
नौमि
Namo Krishna
कृष्णस्वरूपम्
Sarvapam
Shri Radhayaha Pranaya Mahima Kidrusho Vanayaiva
Sri Radhaya
श्रीराधाया
Pranaya Mahima
प्रणयमहिमा
Kidruso
कीदृशो
Vanaiva
वानयैव
Swajo Yenadbhuta Kidrusho Vamadiyah
स्वादो
Swado
येन
Yenadhuta
अद्भुतमधुरिमा
Madhuritama
कीदृशो वा
Kidruso
मह्यः
Vaidya
सौख्यं चास्य मदनुभवतः कीदृशं वेत्ति लोभात्
सौख्यं
सौख्यं
चास्य
चास्य मद् अनुवातं कीदृशं
कीदृशं
प्रीति लोभत्
वेत्तलोभात्
तद्भावाद्यः समजनि शचीगर्भसिन्धौ हरीन्दुः
तद्भवत्या
तद्भावाद्य
समजानि
समजनि
सचिर्गर्भसिन्धो
शशिगर्भसिन्धो
हिरिन्दुः
हरिणुः
पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं
पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं
पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं
कृष्णं
कृष्णं
भक्तरूपास्वरूपकं
भक्तरूपास्वरूपकं
भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं
भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं
भक्तावतारं
भक्तावतारं भक्तव्यं
भक्ताख्यं
नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं
नमामि
नमामि
भक्तशक्तिकम्
भक्तशक्तिकम्
जय जय श्रीचैतन्य जय नित्यानन्द
जय
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 श्री
श्री चैतन्य
चैतन्य
जय
जय
नित्यानन्द
नित्यानन्द
जय अद्वैतचन्द्र जय गौरभक्तवृन्द
जय
जय
अद्वैत
द्वैत चन्द्र
चन्द्र
जय
जय
गौरभक्तवृन्द
गौरभक्तवृन्द
नमो महावदान्याय
नमो
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 महामदन्याय
महावदनाय
कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
प्रेम
प्रेम
प्रदायते
प्रदायते
कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य
कृष्णाय
कृष्णाय कृष्ण
कृष्ण
चैतन्य
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 नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः
नाम्ने
नाम्ने
गौरतविषे
नमः
नमः
गौरवः
कृष्णवर्णं तुषा कृष्णं
कृष्णवर्णं
कृष्णवर्णं
त्रिवर्णं
त्रिशाश्रितम्
साङ्गोपाङ्गास्त्रपार्षदम्
सङ्गोपङ्गस्त्रपार्षदम्
साङ्गोपाङ्गास्त्रपार्षदम्
यज्ञैः सङ्कीर्तनप्रायैः
यज्ञैः
यज्ञैः
सङ्कीर्तनप्रायै
सङ्कीर्तनप्रायैः
यजन्ति हि सुमेधसः
यजन्ति
यजन्ति
सुमेधसः
सुमेधसः
सुवर्णवर्ण हेमाङ्गो
सुवर्णवर्णं
सुवर्णवर्णा
हेमाङ्गो
हेमाङ्गो
वरङ्गश्चन्दनाङ्गदी
वरङ्गश्चन्दनाङ्गदी
वराङ्गश्चन्दनाङ्गदी
सन्न्यासकृत्यमः शान्तो
सन्न्यासकृच्छमः शान्तो
सन्न्यासकृष्टमहान्तो
नमः शान्तो
निष्ठा शान्तिपरायणः
निष्ठा
निष्ठा शान्तिपरायणः
निष्ठाशान्तिपरायणः
मूकं करोति वाचालम्
मूकं
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 करोति
करोति वाचालं
वाचालं
पङ्गुं लङ्गायते गिरिम्
पङ्गुं
पङ्गुं लगायते
लङ्गायते
लङ्घयते
गिरिम्
यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे
यत्कृपातमहं
पातमहं
वन्दे
वन्दे
परमानन्दमाधवम्
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 श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्
श्रीगुरुं
श्रीगुरुन्
दीनतारिणम्
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 श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरम्
श्रीकृष्ण
श्रीकृष्ण
चैतन्य ईश्वरम्
चैतन्यमीश्वरम्
Hare. Thank you so much. So beautifully done, everyone. Thank you so much. Okay, so we got the devotees joined. Hare Krishna, Krishna Keshav Prabhuji, Tanvattanam, thank you for joining. And thank you all dear devotees kindly joining this evening. Here, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila. Okay, so with this one, we have done with the Mangalacharya prayers and everyone. With all the prayers. Okay, so shall Hare Krishna, Krishna Keshav Prabhuji. Dhanyavad, So, thank you for kindly joining and
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so I'll hand over this session over to you, Prabhuji. So thank you so much for kindly accepting to speak few words and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Today we are blessed to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Just bear with me for 1 second. I just need to
Yes.
mute another screen. That's it. So we can begin?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay. So, Hare Krishna. everybody. Thank you for inviting me back again today. Really very nice to see you all again this evening. And I'm glad to be back here in London. So I'll just begin with a short prayer then. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskjarta Deshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pungam Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So I've been asked to talk a little bit today about Adi-lila, Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi-lila, verses 51 to 52, I do believe. So these verses, I guess that over the last few sessions, maybe, in fact, probably definitely, and certainly in the last class that I had with you on Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll have been talking about, discussing, hearing from people talking about Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's directions on the spiritual masters and parampara. And I guess the point that you've reached to now in the Chaitanya Charitamrita is at that stage where you think, well, how did we get to this stage of accepting a spiritual master? Or how did we get to the stage of wanting to take initiation into parampara? How did we become embroiled in this whole parampara thing? How did this knowledge, this realization of spiritual masters and parampara, sampradaya, family, if you like, how did this realization come about in human society? How has this knowledge of Guru become part of our everyday Vaishnava society? And how has it, notwithstanding, of course, the changes of time, circumstance, etc., I mean, how, even if one doesn't accept the Vaishnava or other spiritual path, we live in a world where we accept instruction in everything that we do, don't we? It's kind of an everyday part of the fabric of the world that we live in. We go to school, we take instruction. We take driving lessons, we take instruction. We start a new job, we take instruction. We take birth in a family, we take instruction. So it's there, it's weaved into the fabric of our very being. But how did this knowledge of accepting instruction actually get there? And why is it so important in terms of spiritual knowledge? Not just spiritual knowledge, but spiritual practice and knowledge. Why is it so important? Really, what we're talking about, what I'm trying to say is, how did we develop, accept, interact with these instructions?
So just to overcome the fearfulness of this material world.
Yeah, exactly. So in this part of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we come to a really interesting bit. Adi-lila, verses 51 and 52, fall within the group of verses 50 to 56, where Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he quotes Srimad Bhagavatam's Chatur Shloki. This is where Lord Krishna speaks to Lord Brahma. If you remember last time I was with you a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about, I think, verses 48 to 50. So just sort of within this group of same verses, really. And we ended talking about Lord Brahma practicing tapasya at that time. And during the period of his tapasya, Lord Brahma had become qualified, if you like, through this process of tapasya. Not just through the process of tapasya, but also through listening, hearing deep within. He heard that sound vibration of the word tapasya, didn't he? And he thought, I have to perform austerity in order to understand what is going on. And he listened, and he opened up his heart to that knowledge, or to that sensation, that feeling, that, whatever he was experiencing at that time. If you like, this is, Prabhupada says he became qualified at that time. And because he became qualified at that time, he was able to inquire about the Lord's potencies. He was able to inquire directly of Krishna. And Krishna himself responds to Lord Brahma. And he gives him these 6 verses of sublime spiritual knowledge. In the Bhagavatam, it's in Canto 2, chapter 9, verses 31 to 36. And they're repeated here in this part of Chaitanya Charitamrita, because they form the very essence of Krishna's instructions on parampara, but also actually encapsulate the Bhagavatam in 4 verses. Often heard it called, Bhagavatam in 4. And texts 51 and 52 are direct quotes from the Bhagavatam. And we're going to discuss these quotes today, because within this group of verses, Krishna responds to Lord Brahma by giving him 6 verses of this spiritual knowledge. And this spiritual knowledge is passed down through our eternal parampara, passed down to Narad, then Vyas, and ultimately to us through Srila Prabhupada. So let's just have a quick read of these verses and the purports. Let me just share this slide with you. Just bear with me, my computer's doing some very funny things. Would somebody like to have a go at this? Sanskrit and English, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, please go ahead, Mataji.
Please accept my humble obeisances of Srila Prabhupada. Jnanam paramaguhyam me yadvijnana samanvitam sarhasyam tat angam cha grahana gatitam maya. Please hear attentively what I shall speak to you, for transcendental knowledge about me is not only scientific but also full of mysteries.
This is Krishna talking to Lord Brahma. He's responding to Lord Brahma's question. And Krishna says, please hear attentively what I shall speak to you. For transcendental knowledge about me is not only scientific, but it is also full of mystery or mysteries. And you see that on the screen there's some words highlighted there. Jnanam Vijnana. What do these words mean? Anyone? Anyone have any idea?
Jnanam, Gayatri Mataji, would you like to?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Gnanam is knowledge, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Vijnanam is the knowledge which is coming from the higher authorities, I think. I'm not
sure. So
science.
Go on, Prabhu. You were going to say something?
Vijnana is the science.
Yeah, Vijnana is the science, or actually realization is the literal translation. Jnanam Vijnanam. Knowledge and realization, right? And when you realize something, you realize it because you have observed it and can maybe say something about it or prove something about it or back it up with something. So we call that realization or science, as you say. So Jnanam Vijnanam means knowledge and realization. And when we have knowledge and realization of somebody or something, what starts to happen? between two people or between Krishna and a devotee, for example. If we gain knowledge and realization, scientific knowledge and realization of something, what happens?
Devotional service takes place and then loving exchanges.
Yeah, so a relationship begins, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And so Krishna is basically hinting here at what? It's three very, very key things in our philosophy. And the first one
Sambandha.
begins with an,
Sambandha.
Sambandha, exactly. A relationship begins, doesn't it? So knowledge and realization starts to produce some kind of sambandha or relationship. And then we get to sarahasyam, which is what? Sarahasyam, along with mystery, is the literal translation, along with mystery. So we talked about sambandha. What comes after sambandha?
Avideya.
Yeah, so, yeah, but sarahasyam is actually referring to prayojana. Yeah, and this is explained later in text 55, which we won't cover today, but I just wanted to give you a hint of what's coming. And then tadangam is a verse that's explained in, the meaning of that is explained really in verse 56, which you'll cover another time, but this is your abhideya, if you like. So in this verse, Krishna's already hinting, at what's going to happen. Daranga means supplementary parts, doesn't it? So he's actually hinting at what's going to come in terms of the relationship, and what follows and how that actually takes place, doesn't it? And that's why Prabhupada talks so much in his purport about many things, which we're going to cover in a minute. Somebody like to have a go at the next verse?
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Please go ahead.
Okay, Prabhuji. My husband is here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I can read.
Please.
Yeah. Yavan aham eto bhavo yadrupa gunakarmakaha tataiva tattva vijnanam astu te mad anugrahat. By my causeless mercy, be enlightened in truth about my personality, manifestations, qualities and pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So in these two verses, Krishna responds to Brahma by saying, please hear carefully about what I'm going to talk to you about, because I'm going to teach you about transcendental knowledge about me. This knowledge isn't just scientific, but it's also full of mystery, which gives us a clue as to why so few of us can understand it fully. And then he goes on to say, by my mercy, only by my mercy, only by this mercy that I give you can you become enlightened, and can you know the truth about me, about my personality, about my qualities, my pastimes, my manifestations, my incarnations. So many things are being said already in these two verses. Just let's talk about this one first. Jnanam paramaguyam me yad vijnana samanvitam sarahasyam tadangam cha grahana garitam maya. Please hear attentively about what I'm going to talk to you about. Please hear me carefully. For transcendental knowledge about me is not only scientific, it will give you realization, but it is also full of mystery. So wonderful stuff going on here. And I think we should read the purport, actually. Let's read the purport that Srila Prabhupada gave us on this verse, because I think it's quite important. Could somebody read the purport for me, please? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Please.
The personal form of the Lord are mysterious, and the symptom of this form, which are absolutely different from anything made of mundane elements, are also mysterious. The innumerable form of the Lord, such as Syamasundara, Narayan, Rama, Gaurasundara, the color of this form, white, red, yellow, cloud like Syama, and others. His qualities as the responsive personality of Godhead to pure devotees and as impersonal Brahmana to dry speculators. His uncommon activities like lifting Govardhan Hill, marrying more than 16,000 queens at Dwarika, and entering the Rasha dance with the damsels of Raja, expanding himself is and many form as there were themselves in the dance. These and innumerable other uncommon acts and attributes are all mysteries, one aspect of which is presented in the scientific knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, which is read and adored all over the world by all classes of scholars, with as many interpretations as there are empiric philosophers. The truth of these mysteries was revealed to the Brahma by the descending process. Without the help of the ascending one, the Lord Mercy descends to a devotee like Brahma, and through Brahma to Narada, from Narada to Vyasa, from Vyasadeva to Sukadev, and so on in the bona fide chain of disciple succession. We cannot discover the mysteries of the Lord by our mundane endeavors. They are only revealed by His grace to the proper devotees. These mysteries are gradually disclosed to the various grades of devotee in proportion to the gradual development of their service attitude. In other words, impersonalities who depend upon the strength of their sorry, Prabhuji.
Sorry, it was my fault, Mataji. I accidentally hit the mouse.
Mystical discourse various great devotee in proper graduation. In other words, impersonality who depends upon the strength of their poor fund of knowledge and morbid speculative habits, without submission and service in the form of hearing, chanting, and other mentioned above, cannot be penetrated to the region of transcendence, where the supreme truth is a transcendental person, free from all things of material elements. Discovering the mastery of the Lord elements, the impersonal feature realized by common spiritualists who are merely trying to enter the spiritual region from the mundane platform. Sri Chaitanya Samaprabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Actually, we read these the wrong way round. I wanted to read this one first. So I'm going to quickly read this one for you, which is 1.51. They're labeled incorrectly, so my fault. So this is the one we wanted to cover first, but we won't read that one again, but we get the gist. Prabhupada says that transcendental knowledge of Sri Krishna is deeper than the impersonal knowledge of Brahman, for it includes knowledge of not only his form and personality, but also everything else related to him. There is nothing in existence not related to Krishna. In a sense, there is nothing but Krishna, and yet nothing is Krishna, save and except his primeval personality. This knowledge constitutes a complete transcendental science, and Vishnu wanted to give Brahmaji full knowledge about that science. The mystery of this knowledge culminates in personal attachment to the Lord, with the resulting effect of detachment from anything non-Krishna. There are 9 alternative transcendental means of attaining this stage: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, worshipping, praying, assisting, fraternizing with the Lord, and sacrificing everything for him. These are different parts of the same devotional service, which is full of transcendental mystery. The Lord said to Brahma that since he was pleased with him, by his grace, the mystery was being revealed. So these texts quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, as I said earlier, are part of this profound dialogue between Lord Brahma and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Brahma is the highest devotee in this universe. And he asked 4 essential questions, the answers to which become known as, if you like, the foundational verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam or the Chatushloki. So Brahma asked these 4 questions of Krishna. He said, what are the various forms of the Supreme Lord, both material and spiritual? How do the energies of the Lord operate? How does the Lord engage and interact playfully with these energies? And what instructions should I follow to fulfill my duties as the creator? And that's really what Brahma was trying to get to during this period of tapasya. And Krishna's answer was very loving. It responded to Lord Brahma very gently, and it revealed the deep truth of his divine nature. And Prabhupada tells us in this purport a little bit about that. But before we go there, Krishna explained clearly that the true understanding of him is not possible through mental speculation. However brilliant that speculation is, we can be big philosophers, we can be big intellectuals, but actually we can only grasp this tiny, 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 tiny limited aspect of Krishna. Philosophers and intellectuals and Mayavadis, they can only grasp even less than that. And they know this realization as the impersonal Brahman realization. We call him Bhagavan because it captures who he is. What does the word Bhagavan mean, by the way? Anybody got an idea?
Asha Mataji, would you like to say? Definition of Bhagavan with all, I think, 6 of lenses.
Yeah.
Asha Mataji, would you like to share?
Yeah, I mean, what you said is right. Actually, Prabhupada makes a really important point that we have to remember Krishna with all his features, his Sat-Chit and Ananda features. Srila Jiva Goswami explains the word Bhagavan in his Bhagavad Sandarbha. And he writes that the first syllable of the word Bhagavan is Bha, which means sustainer and protector. The next letter, or the next syllable, Ga, means leader or creator. So far we've got creator, leader, sustainer, protector. And the Va bit from Van, Bhagavan, means a dwelling. Meaning all living beings dwell in the Supreme Lord, and that the Supreme Lord dwells within the heart of every living being. Paramatma is there, no? So if you combine all these aspects, the word Bhagavan carries the import of inconceivable potency in knowledge, energy, strength, opulence, power, and influence. And there is no variety and no inferiority. It's constant. It doesn't flip up and down like we do, flap hot and cold with the weather and the wind and the circumstance. It's constant. He's constantly protecting. He's constantly providing energy. He's constantly in a state of opulence and power and influence. Without these kind of inconceivable potencies one cannot fully sustain or protect, Srila Jiva Goswami writes. And in order to create all of this, and there's a lot to be said about what we see in nature, you know, without being able to create, maintain, and sustain all of this, one cannot have those potencies. Yeah, so this is really what the word Bhagavan means, realizing all these opulences, as Prabhu's just said. But the deeper mystery of Krishna remains hidden from many of us until we are ready to receive it. So we may recognize, okay, Krishna is God, Krishna is the creator, Krishna is the maintainer, Krishna is the sustainer. But very few of us will actually get to know him in truth, at least in this lifetime. Some of us may, some of us won't. And we'll have to come back and do it all over again. Krishna states, doesn't he, in the Bhagavad Gita in, I think it's 7.3, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhyaye yatatam apisiddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvataha, that out of many thousands and thousands of men, only one might strive hard enough for perfection. And of those who have achieved that perfection, even out of the group of people who achieved that perfection, hardly, he says, he uses the word hardly, one knows me in truth. So he's always going to be full of mystery. So Prabhupada makes a couple of points in his purport. The first point he makes is about the complete nature of Krishna's knowledge. Yeah, and we talked just now about Brahman realization, just realizing his Brahman potency. So we've got the Jnana Vijnana bit, Brahman and Paramatma realization. And then you have to understand that there's more to Krishna than that. He's a person. There is a personal relationship. So we have to develop this personal relationship with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada writes that in truth, nothing exists separately from Krishna, yet his supreme original personality remains distinct. And it's true, because we're all dependent upon him and upon what he provides here. So he's constantly maintaining, he's constantly sustaining, he's constantly nurturing. In his purport, Srila Prabhupada says that whilst Brahma is being given this knowledge directly, there is another way. Because we're not going to get a chance to talk to Krishna directly like that. So for us, he's provided the 9 processes of devotional service. What are these 9 processes of devotional service, anyone?
Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu-smaranam, Padasevayam, Satyam, Dasham, Archanam, Vandanam, and Atmanivedanam.
Exactly. Hearing, chanting, remembering, serving his lotus feet, Padasevanam, worshipping, Archanam, offering prayers, becoming a servant, Dasyam. This is why we call ourselves Das and Devi Dasi, yes. It's supposed to help us with the mood of who we are, but we forget, don't we? We can become his friend, Sakyam, and we can completely surrender, Atmanivedanam, can't we? So these methods give us access to achieve a personal attachment to Krishna. The more we chant, the more we go to Kirtan, the more we associate, the more we perform deity worship, the more we pray, the more we serve. And when we talk about Sakyam, or becoming a friend, we're not just talking about becoming a friend to Krishna. We're talking about being a friend to his entire creation. Because first we have to learn to serve Mother Nature. First we have to learn to serve the world before we can serve Krishna. That's what Atmanivedana means, complete surrender. Doesn't just mean that, oh, you know, I'm a fully surrendered soul unto Krishna, but I don't like my next door neighbor. Yeah. So these methods are given to us as practical and accessible means to achieve this personal attachment to Krishna. And it might take many, many millions of lifetimes before these processes, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, before we get fully clear into all of these processes. We may do a little bit of each. Yeah. A lot of learning has to be done. A lot of practice has to be done. And the more we do these practices, the more we carry out, work through these 9 processes of devotional service as given to us in the Bhagavatam. Yes, the closer we can get to Krishna, the more of a relationship starts to develop internally. And the more that relationship flourishes, the more devotion or bhakti develops. Yes? And when we develop bhakti, what happens? We naturally start to become detached and uninterested in things that aren't spiritual, that don't relate to Krishna. For example, I never used to go to temple. I never used to believe in much of this. And then all of a sudden I did. And then all of a sudden I was wearing, devotional clothing and chanting every day. And my mum was getting very, very kind of worried. What's going on with this boy? One day he's doing something else and now he's doing all of this, and and she's getting a bit concerned. And then all of a sudden I'm wanting to offer food. Why do these things happen? It's not for show. It's not for, anything other than understanding that this is a process and that something made me feel like I should be doing this. A little spark, a little light bulb turned on. Srila Prabhupada writes that the highest achievement in transcendental knowledge is developing personal attachment to Sri Krishna. Because by doing so, we become automatically detached from anything that is not related to Krishna, that is opposed to Krishna. And we can use a simple example just to demonstrate the same thing. By performing these 9 processes of devotional service, right? It's like, if you look at the sunrise, when the sun comes up in the sky, it automatically takes away all the darkness of the night. Yeah? In the same way, these 9 processes of devotional service can help us to develop attachment to Krishna and naturally get rid of our ignorance and material nonsense that we have going on every day of our lives, I guess. In the next verse, 1.52, Yavan aham yatha bhavo yadrupa gunakarmakaha tathaiva tattva vijnanam astu te mad anugrahat. Krishna says that by my mercy, by my causeless mercy, only when I give you this mercy can you become enlightened in truth about my personality, about my manifestations, about my incarnations, about my qualities, and about my pastimes. In other words, only I can give you that knowledge. But I will only give you that knowledge if you work at getting close to me. This is what Krishna is saying. And Srila Prabhupada writes in his purport that Mataji read very nicely. He beautifully explains that Krishna's transcendental form, his pastimes, his activities, his whatever, everything remains a big mystery beyond our normal logic and beyond our ability to speculate. In that first verse, Krishna says to Brahma, Jnanam paramaguyam me, yad vijnana samanvitam, sarahasyam tadangam cha, grahana garitam maya. He says, hear attentively what I shall speak to you, because I'm going to give you knowledge about me. It's not only scientific, but it's also full of mysteries. And that underscores how he continues in this next verse, that only by my mercy Can you become enlightened in truth about my personality, manifestations, qualities, and pastimes? So in order to understand the mystery of Krishna's form and pastimes, we just have to reflect a little bit and just think about what Srila Prabhupada said in his purport. The Lord's personal forms, Shama Sundar, Lord Ram, Narayan, Gaura Sundar, they're completely different from anything we experience in the material universe. His colours, cloud-like black, yellow, golden, white, red, his beautiful, inconceivable activities like lifting Govardhan Hill. I mean, there's a little boy and he's effortlessly lifting Govardhan Hill. Where have we seen this before? Nowhere. Only on ZTV or on, in a serial about Krishna, or in reading, the scriptures. There's the Adi-lila, marrying 16,108 queens at the same time. Then he has the Vraja-lila, for example, where he expands himself, to be able to dance with every single gopi, for example. And they all think that he's with them. It's very personal. These are mysteries, aren't they? It defies logic even, like normal logic that we're used to. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains that Krishna's activities appear contradictory to mundane logic. Only by devotion, through his grace, do these mysteries become understandable and relishable. And in order to understand those mysteries, and in order to be able to relish them and feel those pastimes, one has to surrender. And that surrender comes through the process of devotional service. And through taking instruction. Taking instruction through the process known as avaroha, or descending. Knowledge comes from up to down. It doesn't go from the showroom man to Krishna, it goes from Krishna to the showroom man. In other words, it's revealed through disciplic succession, through parampara. So Krishna is explaining it now to Lord Brahma, and then it will come down to us through parampara. We can't get this knowledge through philosophical speculation or just by study, because there's too many questions. And why are there too many questions? Well, think about it. You read a book, it can give you knowledge about something. But somebody who's had experience of it can teach you more. For example, we can read in a book, and Srila Prabhupada gives this example in his Ishopanishad introduction, I think. We can look at the sun in the sky and it looks like a small disk. But actually we know it's far, far bigger than a small disk and far, far more dangerous if we were to get too close to it. We learn this through books, but somebody had to observe it in order to be able to annotate this, to be able to make a note about this, to teach people. Somebody at the top of his field. In the same way, Krishna, if you like, is the top of his field. So he's passing this knowledge to Brahma. And he's passing that knowledge through divine grace alone. And then Brahma's responsibility is to create parampara. So Krishna directly reveals these mysteries first to Lord Brahma in these four verses of the Bhagavatam known as the Chatushloki, which are being given here. In one of these verses, Krishna says, Aham evasam evagre nanyad yad sad asat param paschat aham yad etachcha yo vashishyeta sosmyaham. I alone existed before creation. After annihilation, I alone will remain. Whoever appears during this creation is also me. Now, this is taken out of context by the Mayavadis. But we are all parts and parcels of Krishna. He was there before we were. He will be there after we are there. What happens in the middle is because of him alone. Yes? Brahma Samhita in the first verse tells us, doesn't it, that Krishna is the cause of all causes. So this divine revelation was passed from Brahma to Narad, from Narad to Vyas to Sukadev Goswami, and it continues onward through our acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, and the information gets to us. And Srila Jiva Goswami, he emphasizes in his Bhakti Sandarbha that the Supreme Lord's personal form and activities are fully transcendental and cannot be understood unless received through authentic spiritual tradition and pure devotion. And that revelation and understanding doesn't come all at once. It comes gradually, maybe through millions and millions of lifetimes. Think about this. Arjuna on the battlefield with Krishna, and he asks to see Krishna's form. But Krishna says to him, first I have to give you the eyes to see. And even then, Arjuna couldn't handle it. If our head was flooded with this kind of knowledge, in the same way that Brahma's head was flooded with this kind of knowledge, do you think we would be able to cope in our conditioned state? Anybody? Do you think we would be able to cope? We wouldn't, would we? Our heads would explode. It's too much knowledge to take on and understand and even deal with, right? But Brahma could handle it. So what Krishna does is he does things in a very nice way for us. He takes us through this gradual process over millions of lifetimes, maybe different kind of bodies. And those bodies and those experiences, they carry impressions. And somewhere along that way, somehow we come into contact with Krishna consciousness, and then everything's switched on its head again. So Srila Prabhupada, he's very kind to let us know, right, that this knowledge and these mysteries are revealed to us very gradually. And they're revealed to us at the exact time and level of our sincere devotional service. In other words, as much as we can handle, when we can handle it, and according to our desire, and not just our desire, but our reciprocation with Krishna. Impersonal philosophers, they can understand the impersonal Brahman. But the deeper mysteries, such as loving exchanges between Krishna and his devotees, they remain inaccessible without devotion. You have to have love, you have to have devotion to feel love, no? Lord Chaitanya emphasizes that the rahasyam, or the secret to unlocking this mystery, is a very simple process. Cultivate your bhakti sincerely. That's what he teaches us. That's what he wants us to do. Only through regulated process of hearing and chanting in the association of devotees does the mystery of Krishna's form and pastimes become gradually revealed. That's why these 9 processes of devotional service are so important, why they've been given to us, why they're laid down in scripture. This Viddhi Bhakti, or pure devotional service, is essential if we are to penetrate the mysteries of Krishna. Yeah. And Mahaprabhu himself, he gives us some direct instruction. He instructed his followers to practice 5 key devotional activities to easily access the mysteries of the Lord. Sadhu Sangha, association of devotees. Nama Kirtana, chanting the holy names of Krishna. Bhagavad Shravana, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. Dhamvas, reside in the holy places like Vrindavan or Mayapur for some time. even if it's for a few days here and there. Go and visit. And Murti Seva, Sri Murti Seva, deity worship. Yeah, offering personal service to Krishna's transcendental form. He says that wherever you see my name, my form, my image, wherever you see it, wherever you hear it, wherever you speak it, wherever you write it, there I'm present. It's that powerful. So by adopting these practices, these mysteries begin to unfold effortlessly in the heart of a devotee. And Prabhupada also compares for us in this last purport, he compares the impersonal and personal realizations. It's interesting, isn't it, that those who just want knowledge, the Gyanis, they stop at the impersonal Brahman realization. They don't want to experience anything further. Well, not yet. Maybe it's not time yet for them. Devotees or bhaktas go further, don't we? Because we want to experience Krishna's divine personality. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes very nicely. Let me just find this quote here. Realization of Brahman without devotion is like standing outside a palace gate. One knows there is something grand inside, but the sweetness and intimacy remain inaccessible. Only a devotee enters this palace, experiencing the full sweetness of Krishna's personal form and pastimes. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavatam, and our Vaishnavacharyas, they consistently reveal one central truth, that the transcendental mysteries of Krishna are only accessible by divine grace, descending through authentic devotional practice. So I'm just going to end now by asking us all to humbly approach this science, this knowledge, by committing to sincerely hear Bhagavatam, to sincerely chant the glories of the Lord's names in the company of other devotees through the process of sadhu sangha. By doing so, we become qualified to taste the sweetness of Krishna's form and pastimes. And we can truly then say that, we can go home and do our seva. I'm going to end there. Any questions?
Dear devotees, any questions to Prabhuji? Gayatri Mataji, have you got any questions, Sandeep Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hari Bol Mataji.
Krishna, beautiful class, Prabhuji. It was
Thank
wonderful. Yes. So, Prabhuji, my question is like when you were saying like Krishna will not, like until the time comes, people do not get into Krishna consciousness, right, Prabhuji? Like they like for example, we have many friends, even though I myself, like we are slowly getting into it. So when we talk about it, they have no interest at all to listen or to, and they, so what is the reason for that, Prabhuji? Like
Maybe they are just not spiritually realized yet. Yeah, everybody has a time to get to know Krishna. What has Krishna given us here in this material world? When we come down, why did we come down here in the first place, Mataji? Why are we here?
because we have the desire to come and be independent.
Exactly. So Krishna has given us what?
The independence, free will.
Independence, free will, right? And we've come down. Remember, the people that don't have any interest, they've been here before. This is not their first lifetime. And over those hundreds of millions of lifetimes, what has been happening to them?
They are just going through from life and death, life and death.
Yeah, conditioning. Yeah, they're being conditioned by what happens here in the material world. And they are using their independence to live how the rest of the world lives, because this is what they find enjoyable. And what is the one thing that the soul, we as the spirit soul, want to do?
We want to enjoy. That's
Want
why
to enjoy. So Krishna said, all right, okay, you want away from me, you want, it's like a son leaving home or a daughter leaving home, and mum and dad are saying, okay, I'm not happy about it, but if that's what you want, you go and live on your own, no problem.
yes.
And you have to learn to manage. And in learning to manage, you come across different people with different experiences, different spirit souls with different experiences. And we sort of get tangled up in this web of, what we think is the wonderful thing to do, and live this material life, earn lots of money, eat lots of good food, have 2.4 kids and 3 cars and 2 semi-detached houses, one for rent and one for living in. Right? And we have this is what we must do kind of thing that happens, isn't it? And outside of that, some people become interested in hobbies. Some people become interested in maybe going drinking every Friday night or doing other things. And then some of us like to go to kirtan.
Yes, Prabhuji.
But that kirtan was a choice that you made to go to for the first time, because something inside you, like a little spark, went off and said, actually, I don't want to go to that Mataji's house for dinner today. I'm going to go to the kirtan instead on my Friday night. So you made a conscious choice. So going back to your question was, why does this happen? Why are some people just not interested? Well, they're exercising their free will through all the conditioning that they've had. And maybe Krishna's not put them into a position yet where they're ready to receive bhakti. I started off in a Vaishnava family, but I didn't get Krishna at all, didn't understand him. I became a Christian monk until the age of nearly 29. I'm 59 now. And I came to Krishna consciousness, 12 years ago? 11, 12 years ago? Something like that.
Okay.
And how did that happen? Because in the middle period, from being a Christian monk to joining ISKCON, my life was a bit crazy, really crazy. And sometimes even my mum, she goes, how did we get from where you were in the crazy spell to where you are today? How did that switch happen?
Krishna's mercy, Prabhu.
Krishna's mercy. He put somebody in my way that would stop me in my tracks. Because maybe he thought at that point I was now ready. I did the whole monastery thing when I was young. Then I did the whole teenage thing when I was in my 30s. And then now I'm doing the thing that I should be doing in my 50s. He kind of put things out of order, so I had to learn some lessons along the way. I saw and experienced things in that middle period of years which would make people's sick, would make people's stomach turn. But I also saw some wonderful, amazing things which would make you cry with joy. Yes. And I think I needed to go through those experiences in order to be able to understand the knowledge that I'm receiving today.
Hari Bol, Prabhu.
Yeah. So I think it all comes when the time is right for that individual soul. It's not for you or me to force it on them, but we can encourage them. We can certainly, point them in the right direction. My grandfather gave me a Bhagavad Gita when I was 14. Prabhupada's Macmillan edition, 1972. It sat on my top bookshelf till I was 47 years old.
Yes.
But that book stayed in the house until I was 47, and it's still there now. Why? And I've heard this before. Sometimes books come to you and, they may sit on the shelf for ages and ages and ages, and you may not even be the person to read it, but somebody else in your family might read it and take to Krishna consciousness. Yes. Everything kind of happens for a reason at some point in time. And I think that's what I've come to realize through my experience. Does that help?
Sure, Prabhuji, 100%. Yes, it does help.
Thank you.
Also, one small question, Prabhuji. Even
Yes.
though born in the pious families and all that, becoming old also, some people, they know that it is good to do this, like, chant Hare Krishna and do things like this, but still they are more interested into just the normal news and those kind of things, which is very weird to see, but yeah, very interesting.
See, I see what you're saying. To you, it's very weird to see them doing that. To them, it's very weird to see you chanting Hare Krishna. Even when I'm chanting Hare Krishna in the house, if there's visitors around, I go to my room because, otherwise people are talking. Like, what is this sannyasi doing here?
Yes, yes.
They tease me.
Yes, yes. I understand that. Yes, Prabhuji.
And yet I do have time in the day when I put aside my chanting beads and my Bhagavatam and I watch the news. And why do I do that? Because I need to know what's happening in the world that I'm living in. Because what's happening in the world that I'm living in will affect my bhakti in one way or another. And I need to know how to deal with that.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
And if I don't know what's happening in the world, then how can I have a real sense of compassion about anything?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
It's impossible because you don't know what's going on around you. You're just wrapped up in your own little thing.
Totally. Yes, Prabhuji.
So
yes.
we must understand that we need to know what's happening in the world because we live in the material world, whether we like it or not.
Yes.
We are part of this material world.
That's
Don't
correct.
have a choice. We can't escape from it. We have to live in it with all its experiences. But we also have to know how to deal with those experiences in the context of practicing bhakti yoga.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, 100%. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mataji. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna. Sorry, maybe I missed out. But so, how you came in the Krishna consciousness after
How I
awakening?
came into Krishna consciousness. Well, that's a long, long story for another day. But in brief, I met somebody at work who was the son of a Prabhupada disciple. And that's how the story all began back in 2012-ish. And it was the most wonderful experience that I ever had. I will talk about it another day, but it's a long story. But yeah, in short, I met the son of a Prabhupada disciple at work, and it was through hearing his story. How does this white boy know more about Krishna than I do? That's what was going through my mind. Yeah. How does he know more than this Gujarati about Krishna? Why does he have an altar and why is he chanting mantras? And when they invited me to their home for dinner one night, him and his family, and they were offering food and doing hand symbols and mantras and all sorts when they're offering the food, and I thought, wow, why don't I know any of this? Why did I speak to my mum in a terrible way when I was younger, when she used to do a deity worship? And then it all kind of came together that there is something very deep that I need to understand. I've been too willingly led along by the rest of the world and what they think. And I suddenly realized that something wasn't right for me. And that's why I had those difficult years in the middle. But that's in a nutshell how it all happened for me. And I haven't looked back. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have days when I have doubts. I have days when, chanting my rounds is really, really difficult. When I'm just not interested in the association of devotees on that particular day because of what happened, at work or in another circumstance or because of something else going on. These things happen to all of us. But this is how we grow. By learning to appreciate those times which are difficult and turning them around into something else. And it's not always easy to do, but yeah, just to answer your question, that's how I came to Krishna consciousness.
Once you were in Krishna consciousness, you had any difficulty after that?
Yeah, I mean, so many difficulties. You know, when after joining, I had to learn. You know, I had to learn about our scriptures. I'm 47 years old. Well, I was then. You know, I was 47. Yeah, 47 years old then, and I had to learn about all of this. You know, I would go to the temple in jeans and t-shirt in the morning, and I would ask somebody to show me what was being done and why it was being done and what was being said. You know, I would read the ISKCON songbook when we were singing the Guru Vashtakam at Mangalarti. I would be reading the English in my head because I wanted to understand what are these words that we are singing. You know, we can all sing along and we can all dance along, but what's the point if we don't understand it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So many things, many difficulties came at the beginning, in the middle, even now sometimes. You know, there are days when things just don't come together. But it's all that is the whole challenge of bhakti yoga. Yeah.
Yeah, but within the 12 years, you learn loads and you you
I learned a lot, but I learned a lot because I had some wonderful teachers and examples, but also because I was allowed to, I guess I was allowed to teach very early on, to present some stuff. And through that process, I learned to listen to the people in the groups. The sorts of questions that you ask are the sorts of questions that we all have to ask ourselves, you know, from day to day. And that's how we grow.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz.
Okay, so we'll leave it there for today because it's already 6 minutes past 9, and I'm sure that many of you will want to be finishing off this session so you can get some sleep as well before Sunday program.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for kindly sharing all this knowledge with us. It's just one more question to ask. It's a straightforward question. May we know about your spiritual master, Prabhuji?
My spiritual master is His Holiness Radhanath Swami. Yeah. I got my first initiation in March 2017. And my Brahman initiation I got 2 years ago in 2020, 3 years ago in 2023. 2022, September 2022. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I wish you all a good night now. I'm going to go and just have a sit with my mum for a while because in 1 hour she will be going to bed.
Can we all unmute and do the Lord Haribol for Prabhuji?
Hari Bol.
Hari
Bol.
Hari
Hari Bol.
Bol.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Really lovely
Prabhuji.
to.
Nice class.
Wonderful class. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's always a joy to spend some time with you because it means I don't have to go anywhere and I can be at home with the family and just, know that everybody's all right in the next room and I can, have some association because I don't get to go out much these days. You're looking after my parents. So yeah, it's nice to have this opportunity. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, please. Yes, Mahesh Prabhuji, please come again and again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I take your leave. Please accept my humble obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a lovely weekend, and I will hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Hari Bol.
Prabhuji, Hari Bol.
Okay, so thank you so much, all the devotees, for kindly cooperating with Prabhuji. So Prabhuji shared kindly lots of information with us. Okay, so just Prabhuji was speaking on the two verses. Can I request all devotees to take a turn and then to recite those two shlokas, please, if it is okay with you? So just only the recitation. We don't go again to everything else. So recitation, and then we'll wind up 51 and 52. Okay, can I request dear devotees, starting with Gayatri Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Text 51. Jnanam paramaguhyam me yadvijnanasamanvitam sarahasyam tad angam cha grahana gaditam maya. Text 52. Yavanaham yata bhavo yadrupa gunakarmakaha tathaiva tattva vijnanam astu te mad anugrahat. Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful Mataji. Next. Do we have Sanjay Prabhuji as well?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah. Text 51. Gnanam paramaguyam me yadvignana samanvitam saharahasyam tadangam cha grana gaditam maya. Yeah. Text 52. Yavan aham eto bhavo yadrupa gunakarmakaha tataiva tattva vignanam astu te mad anugrahat. Hare Krishna.
Very beautiful. Thank you, Prabhuji. And Mataji, very nice. Okay, Samina Mataji.
Nanam param gruyami yad vignan samavitam sarahasyam tad angam cha graha gaditam maya yayam aham yatya bhava yat rupa guna karmaka tattva vignanam astu te mad anugrahat.
Thank you, Mataji. So, there is no Sanskrit here. There is only Bengali, Bengali script for this Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Mistake. Sorry, Prabhuji. Sorry, mistake.
Yeah, nicely recited. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, so we shall move to the next. Mrida Sakshi Mataji, please. If you are available. If not, then Prabhavati Sakshi Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna. Jnanam paramaguhyam me yadvijnanasamanvitam sarahasyam sarahasya tadangam cha grahana gaditam maya yavan aham yata bhavo yadrupa gunakarmakaha tathaiva tattva vijnanam astu te madanugrahat.
Very nice, so beautiful. Thank you, Mataji. Can you request Usha Mataji, please?
Yes, Hare Krishna. ज्ञानं परमगुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञानसमन्वितं सरहस्यम् अतदङ्गं च ग्रहगण्ठितं मया यवन अहं यथा भावो यद् रूपागुणकर्मकः तथैव तत्त्वविज्ञानम् अस्तु ते मदनुग्रहात्। Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Asha Mataji, please.
ज्ञानं परमगुह्यं मे यत् विज्ञानं समन्वितं सरस्कश्यं तत् अङ्गं च ग्रहणागदितं मया यावन् अहं यत्तभवो यत् रूपगुणकर्मकः तत्त्वैद तत्त्वा विज्ञानम् अस्तु ते मत् अनुग्रहात्.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Mataji. Nicely recited. Do you have Mrida Sakshi Mataji now? Okay, thank you so much, all dear devotees, for kindly reciting the shloka. Jnanam paramaguhyam me yad vijnana samanitam sarahasam tadangam cha grahana gaditam maya. Yavanaham yatabhavo yadrupa guna karmakaha tadaiva tattva vijnanam astute madanagrahat. So the Lord is speaking to Brahma. So it is all secret knowledge. So it is a sarva Gushetamam Bhuyaha. Chudme Paramam Bachaha. Krishna says this is a Gushetamam, the confidential knowledge that here the Lord is going to speak to Brahma. Okay, so that is these two shlokas before the Chatushlaki Bhagavata. And the Lord says the four statements are four shlokas. Before that, he is speaking this. This is very confidential knowledge. In the Bhagavad Gita, what is the confidential knowledge? Can anyone say? Bhagavad Gita 18.66. Okay, so it is Sarvadharma.
Sarvadharman Parityajya, the Prabhuji.
Yes,
Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchah.
yes, that is the confidential knowledge. This is Sarva Bhushatamam Bhuyaha Shurnime Paramam Vachaha. Because he mentions to Arjuna Manmana Bhava Madbhakta Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mam Evashi Satyante Pratijali Priyosimi. So that's why Krishna is saying to Arjuna. This is very confidential knowledge. Okay, so that is, but here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chatushlaki Bhagavata, so that will be coming here. Aham evasam kire nanyat yat sadasat param pashadaham yedekya yovisheta sosmiham. So these are the four shlokas, and then fifth shloka was, it is to again stresses Brahma to remember all these shlokas and meanings, so that he would remember the Lord in all times and circumstances. Okay, so that is the knowledge. Jnanam paramaguhyam me yad vijnana samanitam. Tatpataha. This is science. Okay, I stop here. And also, dear devotees, if you have got any questions or you wanted to share anything else, so kindly share or kindly ask. Otherwise, we shall move to the next part. That's in our prayers. Okay, so thank you so much for your questions. Then we shall move to the next mark prayers. So join us in our prayers by Meena Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, would you like to start? And you wanted someone to respond with you. Keshav Mataji, are you available?
Yes,
Okay, when you're ready, Mataji, and we start the lesson of prayers.
Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasimhaya
Namaste Narasimhaya
Prahlad
Daladayini
हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षः
Hiranyakashiपूर्वशः
तिलटङ्कानकालाय
Shrilankanakalamaya
तो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो
Ito Narasimho Parato Narasimho
इतो नरसिंहो परतो नरसिंहो
Ito Narasimho Parato Narasimho
यतो यतो यमिततो नरसिंहो
यतो यतो यमिततो नरसिंहो
बहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
बहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
बहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
बहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंहो
नरसिंहामदिं शरणं प्रपदे
नरसिंहं शरणं प्रपदे
तव करकमलवरे लाकाम् अद्भुतशृङ्गा दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवदीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
वकरकमलवरे अद्भुतशृङ्गा दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवदीता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवधृता नरहरिरूप जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
केशवदीता जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव
जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज
जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद
नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल
नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल
नृसिंहदेव भगवान की जय
जय
प्रहलाद महाराज की जय
जय
Nittai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari.
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Meena Mataji and Usha Mataji. So beautiful.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are 25 past 9 o'clock. And the devotees are all happy. We shall conclude and see you tomorrow morning for Japa session at 5:30 a.m. Okay, we shall conclude.
पादरभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय। चलो
जय।
Have a conscious night, everyone.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.